Thank you all for tuning in here today. My Torah portion comes from the book of Leviticus. It takes place after Exodus when the Israelites had just moved Mount Sinai. In fact, it takes place after the completion of the tabernacle. For those of you who don't know, the tabernacle is the earthly, movable place of God, where the Israelites kept the Ark of the Covenant, which had the 10 Commandments. To put it in simpler terms, it is like a temple in the desert. The book of Leviticus emphasizes ritual, legal, and moral practices and not beliefs. Unlike the stories from the Old Testament that you probably know, like the stories of Abraham, Moses, and Joseph, my Torah portion has none of that. Instead, I get to read a rule book. The rituals in Leviticus are supposed to help people become closer to God by learning how to be absolved of their sins. It is about sacrifices and rituals that the Jewish people practiced a long time ago. Specifically, it talks about 5 types of sacrificial offerings, such as burnt offerings, meal offerings, and others. In fact, it goes into great detail about what animals can be sacrificed, if animals can be placed upon the altar, and how to prepare the animals to be sacrificed. The animals were offered up like a meal to God. For example, the meat is to be salted, and it's supposed to come with a drink and a bread. One of the more gruesome passages in my Torah portion says, "The bull shall be slaughtered before the Eternal, and Aaron's sons, the priests, shall offer the blood, dashing the blood against all sides of the altar, which is the entrance of the tent meeting." Imagine walking into a temple, and there's just blood all over the place. You would probably leave, and I wouldn't blame you. But thankfully, these rituals are not in effect today. But there are still some important ideas that we can take away from Leviticus that applies to today's world. In fact, there are 3 important ideas I would like to talk to you about today. 1, the importance and meaning of sacrifice. 2, the importance of rituals in daily life and family matters. And 3, the importance of paying attention to detail. First, let's elaborate on the meaning of sacrifice. In the modern day era, it means to give up something of value for the sake of something or someone else. There are 2 types of sacrifices. Sacrifices we make for ourselves and ones that we make for others. Today, I will talk about sacrifices for others. There are 2 main things that the people sacrifice for others: money and time. If you want to make the world a better place, you can start small and look for an opportunity every day. You can give your time to a charity or to a person in need. And if you have resources, you can give money to the cause that you care about, or people who have less. I'd like to encourage all of us in the room today to think about a sacrifice that you can make for others this week. That is the first lesson I'd like everyone to take away from today's Torah portion. Next, let's talk about the importance of rituals in the modern day world and why they matter. The importance of rituals is that they help give meaning and structure to our lives. The obvious ritual that we are all taking part of today is the ritual of having a bar mitzvah at 13, or a bar mitzvah. And it was a long process, which took me years to prepare for, and it was all worth it, for 4 reasons. It helped me create a stronger Jewish identity, become a man according to Jewish law, make new friends, and also have my first real sip of wine before the age of 21. But rituals don't have to be as complicated or as time-consuming as a bar or a bat mitzvah. They can be as simple as a free throw routine, or kissing your kids goodnight, or even going to school. Or they can be more impactful to your life, like high school or college graduation, or even a funeral. We should all look for rituals that bring us joy and comfort. We should repeat these rituals as much as we can until we can't do them anymore. And when we can't do them anymore, we should pass these rituals on to others, so that they might bring joy and comfort to them. This is the second lesson that I hope everyone takes away from my Torah portion. The final lesson that we should all take away from today's Torah portion is that attention to detail matters. Most of my Torah portion is about sacrificing animals as an offering to God, and it goes into great details. For example, here's another small passage from my Torah portion translated in English. When making a burnt offering from sheep or goats, it must be a male, and slaughtered on the north side of the altar. Its blood should be dashed across the altar, then the meat is to be cut into sections and laid out in a certain way on the wood that is then lit on fire. The entrails should be washed with water and also burnt as a part of the offering. These ritualistic details are not in effect today, but we do have many other activities in our daily lives that require attention to detail. For example, if you are making a math final, you have to make sure that you follow the order of operations so you will succeed. When you are baking, you have to make sure that you measure every ingredient precisely, or your recipe turns out so the recipe turns out the way that you want it to. Even in sports like basketball, attention to detail matters. When you are taking a free throw, it means you making sure that your feet are set and that your elbow is tucked in, and that you snap your wrist so you can get good rotation on the ball, increasing the likelihood of it going into the basket. Another more serious example of when attention to detail matters is when a surgeon is performing surgery on a patient. Every detail matters. When the Coast Guard is doing a search and rescue, they want to make sure that they are going to the right coordinates, and that they understand how many people might be on the vessel, and have the right tools to assist in the search. So remember, if you want to be successful at anything, you must pay attention to detail. This is the last lesson I wanted everyone to take away from my Torah portion and keep with them for the rest of their lives. To recap the lessons of this Torah portion, remember that. First, everyone should try to sacrifice and help for others. 2, rituals are important and you should do them as much as possible and pass them on to future generations. And third and finally, if you want to be successful at almost anything, you have to pay attention to the detail.